a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Steve Ramona. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. Steve Ramona. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness. Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast.
It was a roadside bomb. I did my job. The robot did its job. We had that thing pulled apart, and as I was going to collect some evidence, there was a secondary device. It detonated, and it blew up in my face. It took my eyes and cracked my skull. It blew up my eardrums, but I'd actually, I retained my hearing, or some of it. After my recovery, I was blind for the rest of my life. But it wasn't until 4 years later when the injury to my skull, there was a complication. I contracted bacterial meningitis, and the meningitis stole what was left of my hearing almost 4 years after the bomb and what it had taken.
I want to invite you into the Business Network, my free school community for entrepreneurs and business owners who want to grow their network and scale their business. Inside, you'll get step-by-step lessons, monthly workshops, feedback, scripts, resources, bonuses, and a community of like-minded people who believe in helping each other win. Join us today at school.com/thebusinessnetwork and click Join Group. I'll see you inside.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. And I don't usually do this, but I'm going to do a shout out to Kevin Thompson for this introduction. Audience, you're in for a huge treat. My guest is deaf and blind. He's a real estate entrepreneur. He's an investor. He's doing entrepreneurial things, and he can't see and he can't hear. I want you to resonate with that a little bit before we start. And here's our gratitude for today. And I tell you what, this is my guest to a T. What sets you apart is your ability to make anyone feel special. Who are you making feel special today? Work on that daily little impact. Special doesn't have to be give somebody $100,000. It could be smiling, saying their name. It could be so little. And my guest, we're going to talk about that and many other things. So let's bring our guest on. Aaron, welcome to the show, my friend.
Steve, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate you inviting.
What is the biggest impact you made to date?
Today? Today it was actually the biggest impact was on my twins, identical twins, because I shouldn't be the only one who's confused, but they needed my attention, and I was so focused on preparing for my own show and preparing for this show, and they said, "Dad, I need you," and I almost said later, buddy. But you know what? I'm a dad, and I put the one hat off and I put the other hat back on, and I gave him my full and undivided attention. And you know what? That's one of the most satisfying and fulfilling feelings for me is when I know that I'm giving my sons that attention they deserve.
What a huge impact being a dad. And not that you have enough multiple hats, you throw dad in there as well. Entrepreneur, real estate, podcast. What is your guide to get you here where you are today?
Well, it comes down to quite a bit of things. And I was a former EOD technician in the Army. That's explosive ordnance disposal, that Hurt Locker guy, or I don't like that movie, called The Ouch Closet or something. But we're all about systems, processes, routines, reviews, examination. There's no room for hurt feelings, and judgments. So we need to uh, carry on the mission. And there's things being hard were never a good excuse for mission failure. So then we got to figure out how to do it. And I've tried to figure out can I translate what I learned in the military and as an EOD technician, as a bomb tech, that I can translate into that fits my life today as a blind man, deaf man, as a father, as an entrepreneur, real estate investor, all these other things, as a speaker, podcast host, what fits universally. And just like John Boyd and his OODA loop, uh, uh, it's a system of reviewing the situation, deciding what uh, uh, the situation is, uh, and clarifying it, and then deciding and actually taking action. But it's a loop. I took ownership. I appropriated it myself. In the army, they said there are no thieves in the army. Just everybody else. There's only one thief, and everybody else is just trying to get their stuff back. But uh, I made it my own, called it the C4 operating system, and that's call it, clarify, choose, and commit. And it functions equally well everywhere in my life. And the reason is, for one, clarify or call it is what is the situation? This isn't the same as situational awareness. This is an objective look at what's happening around you. And it's a portion of situational awareness. And what I do is I just take stock. It's the difference between saying I'm out of shape, which is a judgment, and it's a limiting factor, to saying, all right, my weight has gone up 10 pounds in the last month. I'm feeling tired. Earlier in the day, I don't have that mental clarity that I used to, and I haven't been getting to the gym. That's the situation. Those are the clear facts. But then when you go to clarify, call it, clarify is the second C. And this is where the second component of situational awareness comes in. And that's when situational awareness in itself is the situation plus yourself inserted. Now, talking about what is the environment, what's going on around me, and then how have my decisions brought me to this place, time, and status, and how will my actions and my beliefs and my decisions and my behaviors, how will all those things affect myself and the environment and everybody else around me? And that's situational awareness. That's clarity. So once you call it and you clarify it, you have that situational awareness, then it's decide, okay, what do I do about this? How do I move forward? What are my resources? How do I utilize those resources, my people, my team around me? And how do I get it to bring me closer to my goals and my team towards the purpose and mission success? And then at the end, you've got uh, you've got commit. This is one of the worst things is, that we all get stuck in that analysis, right? With education, YouTube University, whatever it is, coloring the tabs on your spreadsheet. We clarify and we choose, and we're there in the process, but we want to get it perfect. But commit actually means taking action, to decide, act, and then go. And you can change on the fly. And that's the best thing about this C4 operating system, is that it's a loop. It's a decision-making process, and you can go right back to the beginning. You can jump back. You can't jump forward in the process, but you can jump back if an action doesn't work out like you expected, or you get different results, and you go back and you call it, clarify, choose, and commit again. So uh, it's in the military, at least um, in the Army, we call them AARs, after action reviews. And there are a couple questions that we always ask, and that's how did it turn out, right? Did we get what we were aiming for? Well, the mission success, was it accomplished? What should we start doing? What should we do more of? What should we stop doing? And what should we do less of? And basically, what went well and what went wrong? And
Yeah.
it's an objective process and it's continuous. And we use that to work on the next mission. And this whole process, the C4 operating system, works in our online fudge company, my speaking events, to operating our rentals and out of state. As a blind deaf guy, I got to figure out how to do these kind of things. And again, it's hard for me, but it's hard for everybody. Everybody says hardships. So
Yeah.
we got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah. You've really given me the description, which I talk about military and business. The bridge between both is so perfect. I mean, it sounds like a lot that you learned in the military. You're now putting your civilian life through your business and you're successful. What else have you learned in the military that you use today to help your business?
Well, there's another thing called time on target. And this is what the motto in EOD is initial success or total failure, which it puts a pretty fine point on our job. But when we make that long walk, we get into the bomb suit and we make the long, lonely walk towards a literally explosive situation. Time on target is how long we're in that danger zone. And the longer you're in that danger zone is the more opportunity something wrong can happen. Something bad, a mistake can happen, or time just simply runs out. So that that is translated, that comes into taking action. We got to make a decision, act. And that doesn't have to be the perfect action right away, but we act on the best information that we have at the time, best resources we've got on hand, just so long as we're not getting stuck on target. Special forces call it get off the X, just move. And again, it's one of those things where we can adjust on the fly. And you think about, imagine you're on the highway, you're doing, you're driving, but you've got the cruise control on, and maybe you're not even paying attention to the road anymore. Well, the longer that happens, the more opportunity there's going to be for the road to turn. So you need to continuously do that C4 decision-making process, that operating system, the loop to continuously review what's happening, get that situational awareness, and keep making decisions and committing an action, taking action.
I love time on target. What I'm hearing from you that's really going to help me and audience, hope you pick this up. Are you working with a client, time on target, and it's not working? It's not a fit. Use your C4 operating system. Go, I analyze, clarify, and do all that. Like, hey, you know what? This is not a fit. We need to release you and you find somebody else. That's the first thing that came to my head. What a powerful way of doing your business, because you're serving both sides of it, the client and yourself. I know people are going to ask. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, sorry. Yeah, in business, if you're not closing sales, if you're not getting the leads, a lot of people will, a lot of leaders will assume that it's marketing, or maybe it's in the sales team, or maybe who knows, maybe you have the wrong product in the wrong market. But
Yeah.
a lot of leaders will jump to conclusions really quickly, unless you have a system, a process for reviewing what those your indicators are telling you, lead and lag indicators, and they're all warning signs. On the battlefield, we have these telltale signs. We go through a process. When I was a bomb technician, we had ordnance identification features. Does it have fins? Is it round? Does it have a fusing? Where is the fusing? All this coloring, markings, all these kind of things would tell me if it's something that's supposed to be buried, dropped, thrown, projected, launched, and from there I can decide, how to take appropriate action so I don't get myself or somebody else hurt, and I can, make the proper actions and get to mission success in the most efficient and safest way.
Yeah, that's very well said, Aaron. Let's tell the story of how you became deaf and blind. I know people are listening, thinking, "God, he's so successful," but how'd you get there? What happened to you?
Well, I was coming home, or I just come home, or back on the battlefield from visiting home for my 2 weeks of R&R. I got to see the family for Thanksgiving, gather all around the dinner table. I got to witness my firstborn son turn 1. It was the best last page in the photo album that I could have ever asked for. And
Wow.
I got picked up at the airfield, jumped into my armored truck with my team, and we jumped into a convoy, head back out to our area of operation, or AO. And on the way, the convoy commander called out and asked for a EOD to go check something out on the side of the road. It was a roadside bomb. I did my job. The robot did its job. We had that thing pulled apart, and as I was going to collect some evidence, there was a secondary device. It detonated, and it blew up in my face. It took my eyes and cracked my skull. It blew up my eardrums, but I'd actually, I retained my hearing, or some of it. Uh, After my recovery, I was blind for the rest of my life, but it wasn't until 4 years later, when the injury to my skull, there was a complication. I contracted bacterial meningitis, and the meningitis stole what was left of my hearing almost 4 years after the bomb and what it had taken. But all along the way, I was developing this process. I was trying to figure out, and this is another one of those lessons from the battlefield. Our EOD teams are given, the 3-person team, are given an entire shipping container full of tools, right? And to combat everything that explodes, from nuclear bombs to bullets. And we've got
Wow.
tools for all of it. And we get to the battlefield, and we're given that, armored truck, like I mentioned, but it's not as big as the shipping container. So we got to do a bit of a triage with some of the tools that we're most likely to encounter in this part of the world, and this enemy. So we leave some behind, and we bring some tools with us, and we pack that thing tight. You'd barely be able to fit ourselves in there. But in Afghanistan, where my last deployment was, there aren't any roads. They're all dirt trails that none of our vehicles could fit on. So guess what? We could only bring what we could carry on our backs. And that ended up being like a Blackout C4 and some, rope and some carabiners and that kind of thing. And we
Wow.
still had to figure out how to do the same job, and perform the same mission and get our people, from point A to point B safely. And we couldn't complain about the tools we didn't have on hand and we left behind. And when I was sitting in that hospital bed, I was feeling sorry for myself. It's actually very hilarious how stereotypical my process of going through the grieving, the stages of grief. You could have, like, written a textbook case study on me, how I went through those stages. But after I went through them, and I decided that I was going to be the best darn blind guy I could be, uh, I looked at that. Put that same scenario in the situation I was in now, and I left some tools behind: my eyes, then my ears, and I still had a mission. I was still a dad. I was still an entrepreneur. I was still, at the time, still a soldier, but I would always be a warrior. Still always have, the military and my veteran brothers and sisters, and I had to continue on. I knew in that hospital that I was not the only one. There were warriors up and down those halls that were injured. They were fighting their own personal battles, and I did not have a monopoly on pain. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
carried on.
Boy, what a motivation. I was going to ask you. You just answered it without even me asking the motivation. You lost a few tools, but you got others. I love that because we're all in that boat, whether it's eyes, ears, legs, not as smart, not as fun, not as, elegant. So many different tools in business that we're lacking. Just what you've done and what we should do is superpower those ones that you're really good at. And I love that. Let's come close to the end here. Let's talk about your podcast. You're very passionate about it, and I love that. What's your podcast about, the name, and tell us some stories about it.
Well, it's a point of impact with Aaron Hale. And, of course, it's a play on, that dual meaning, but it's not about, just what happens at the point of impact. It's what happens after. And it's becoming that point of impact, becoming the best you so you can give your best. So I, I tell my own personal lessons and ideas on certain topics, and I share stories of incredible people, battle-tested warriors, entrepreneurs, elite athletes, and what they're doing, their mindsets, their habits, and their goals, and how they accomplish them. I've had some incredible guests like the Colonel Scott Mann, who is retired Green Beret. He was part of that Operation Pineapple Express. Went to rescue some of our allies that at the 2021 retreat of Afghanistan, and then actually pretty heavy on Green Berets. I don't know what it is. It's not intentional, but they tend to do some pretty amazing things.
Yeah, they are amazing. What's one? Well, you told his story. What's a piece of advice you'd give the audience to end here to really take and run with to help them scale and grow not only their business but their life?
This has kind of been one of my mantras. This is the thing that dug me out of the pun intended, dark place. But I don't know if I read it on a meme on Facebook or something, but it's stuck in my head. It's tattooed on my brain. And it's someday the story of your struggle may be the blueprint for someone else's survival. And that might be your business. That might be somebody in your business. That might be in your community. It might be your own family. It might be somebody you do not know. You need to tell your story. You need to develop it and need to be able to convey it well enough that it connects with somebody and you can have that impact. And that's been my driving mission ever since. And I say, people, I know I get that, oh, bless your heart type of thing and the pity. But they don't know. I've been given such an incredible gift in a story. And it's a wild one, but uh, but that just means that I can have the greatest impact with it. Everybody's got a story, and they got to figure it out, and they got to share it.
Aaron, you're truly a servant's heart warrior. You said the word earlier. I really appreciate you. Just you're so humble about all this, where some people would break down and maybe not be here in the world anymore because of those obstacles. So I thank you so much. Let's learn a little bit about you. I like to do a little fun question at the end here. So I'm going to come out where you live, and we're going to find your favorite restaurant, wherever that is. And I'm going to reserve a table. What I want you to do is invite 3 people, whether dead or alive, doesn't matter, to come to dinner with us that have been influential in your life, made a difference, made an impact. And for me, I'm a foodie. I love food. So I want you to order the food for the table as well.
Sorry, say that again. What was the question?
That's okay. So invite 3 people who've been an impact in your life. And then what food would you order for the table?
Well, of course, and I don't know, this is not a cop out, but my mom.
Amen.
Everybody, I ask the same thing, people who have made impact in their lives on my show. But I tell you what, I was in the hospital And my mom walked in, and said, "I am so sorry that I did this to your other son, because my kid brother was traumatically injured before me." Uh, I felt so bad. And she said, "Oh, honey, not my first rodeo. We're gonna be all right." That turned my whole perspective on my situation 180. So she goes to the top of my list.
Yeah.
The other two, I have to say, were Mark Twain, who at I think 25 years old was ready to commit suicide in San Francisco, writing his own brother. He'd said, "I don't know how long I can last," but he endured, became one of the funniest writers in history, and I still use a ton of his quotes because they're hilarious.
Yeah.
And I have to say also, uh, when we're talking about people who've made an impact, and these are, let's say, my fellow team EOD team leader, Kyle Vickers. He was injured just 2 weeks before me, and like I said, I was home in the area when he was injured on my own on vacation, and I saw him come out of the ICU as the first one. And I asked the nurses, what happened. They wouldn't tell me. Of course, when I went in to wait in his room, there was a stack of clothes on the table, beside the bed. Shirt, shorts, hoodie, one shoe. You didn't have to be a rocket surgeon to figure that one out.
Yeah.
But he was the
Wow.
one who used humor, wheeling into my hospital room 2 weeks later when I began sharing the unit with him, and his laughter and his positivity also were one of the reasons I was able to change my perspective and start changing my life.
What's your mom's name? Let's do a shout out for her.
Sorry, say that again.
What's your mom's name? Let's do a shout out
A shout out?
to your mom. What's her name? What's your mom's name?
My mom's name? Oh, it's Carol Hale.
Carol. God bless
Carol.
you. Yeah, I gotta say that. So, what are you gonna order for food?
For food? Oh, I love food too. I used to be, before I was a Army bomb tech, I was a Navy uh, Navy chef to a 3-star admiral.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm kind of the blindest guy with shiny object syndrome. I've had a couple different careers. But yeah, I joined the Navy before going to the Army and jumped ship. Um, but I cooked for a 3-star, the commander of the Sixth Fleet in Gaeta, Italy for a few years. And hardship duty, it was not. But I tell you what, I love me some Italian food.
Ooh.
Uh, Ironically, I was not allowed to cook it on the ship when we were in port because why would it, like the admiral said, why would I have the American cooks? I'm here. So that was a shame. Couldn't practice on our admiral while we were there.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you on the Italian food. Aaron, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on my show and spending the time. You've motivated me, inspired me to do some bigger things I never thought I would do. I'm sure the audience is thinking the same thing. How can they reach out to you and connect with you and listen to your podcast?
I can be found on the YouTubes and social medias and of course podcast platforms. The website's pointofimpactpod.com, and that's where all of the other links can be found.
Beautiful, simple, servant's heart, taking care of people. We'll have that in the show notes, audience. You'll be able to reach out to me. And I'm going to do something special. If you reach out to Aaron or me and mention this podcast, the first 10 of you, I'm going to send you a free gift to help impact. And just, I want to line up right next to Aaron and start making impact like he is, because he's inspired me to do that. And Aaron, thanks again for being on the show. And audience, share this out. I tell you right now, if you share this podcast out with somebody struggling a little bit, it's going to motivate them. It's going to impact them, and that's the whole goal. So with that being said, me and Aaron want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.